Hi dear students, welcome back to the section of Mathematics of Class 10. So today we are going to study the MCQs of the new chapter Polynomials. So let's go to the next question. If the sum of zeros of the polynomial, here a polynomial is given, f of x is equal to, let me write the polynomial first of all. So this is the polynomial which is given here. So it is given that the sum of the zeros of this polynomial, you know that this is a cubic polynomial, so we can say sum of the polynomials means it's obviously alpha plus beta plus gamma, and it is given how much it is 6. Okay, and the value of k, that's the thing what you have to find. Very clearly you can see here, this is the unknown quantity, right? K is the thing which you have to find, so you have to find the value of k. So here alpha plus beta plus gamma, that is given, it is 6. We know that what is alpha plus beta plus gamma regarding cubic equation. We will go to the equation. Even though if it is cubic or even if it is quadratic, the equation is same itself, it is minus b by a. So this implies minus b by a, and that is 6. Now tell me what is a, what is b, and what is c. This is the first term, this is regarded as a. This is the second term, this will be b, and this is the third term, it is c, and this is d. So minus b by a, what is minus b by a? So we will write it minus of, now tell me what is b. B means it is the coefficient of x square. Whatever term is in front of x square, that is what we call b. So it is minus 3k. So minus 3k. Already one minus is there. It's of these equations divided by a. The value of a is 2, and that is 6. So minus and minus, it will become plus. So we can write 3k is equal to, multiplying this together, you will get 12. From this one, it is very clear the value of k will be 4, because 12 by 3 is 4. So like this, whenever you are getting a question, keep this in your mind that the sum of the zeros of a cubic equation and the sum of the zeros of a quadratic equation, both of them, they are minus b by a itself. It is minus b by a. But when you are choosing a, b and c, you must be very perfectly choosing them. You must know where it is aligned. The first term, that means the coefficient of x cube in cubic equation is called the a. Whereas if you're considering the quadratic equation, there the first term will be of x square, right? So we can say that the coefficient of x square will be regarded there as a, but here the coefficient of x cube will be regarded. Just keep that in mind like this. The very first term will be a, the second term b, the third term c, and the fourth term d, like that. Is that clear? That's it. So let us go to the next question. If the product of two zeros of a polynomial, f of x is equal to, so here f of x is given, so let us write that f of x here. So f of x is equal to 2x cube plus 6x square minus 4x plus 9. So what is the question? If the product of two zeros of this polynomial, if the product of two zeros, anyhow you know this is a cubic polynomial. So cubic polynomial consists of three products. You know it is a three zeros, it is alpha, beta and gamma. So we can say that it is given alpha beta, means the product of alpha and beta is given. How much it is? It's 3. So 3 is given. So alpha into beta is given 3, and you have to find the next root. That means you have to find the next 0. So anyhow alpha beta is given, it is as 3, and we already know that alpha into beta into gamma, you have to find gamma, right? So in two ways you can find. One, by using the product of the roots you can find, or by using the sum of the roots also you can find. I think by using the product will be much more easier. So we know that alpha, beta, gamma, that means the product of all these roots will be minus d by a. So this is your a, b, c, d. So what is your d? So d is what? It's this one, right? This is your d. And this one is your a. So a is there, d is also mentioned there. Now what you have to do, you just need to substitute here. So alpha, beta, gamma. Alpha into beta is already given, it is 3. So 3 gamma is equal to minus of, what is d? It is 9 divided by a, it is 2. Then cross multiplying, you can write gamma is equal to minus 9 by 2 into, when it comes to this part, it will become 1 by 3. 3 and this will cancel together, it will become 3, that's equal to minus 3 by 2. So you got the third root, it is minus 3 by 2. So this is the way how to understand a question and how to deal with that one. Whenever the roots are given, you have to take it as alpha, beta and gamma. If it is a cubic polynomial. But at the same time, if it is a quadratic polynomial, you will take it as alpha and beta. That's the only thing which you have to keep in your mind. Hope you understood, right? Now let us go to the next question. So the next question, here it is. It's an interesting question because let's read the question before. If one root of the polynomial, so here the polynomial is given. Again, let us write the polynomial first. F of x is equal to, the polynomial is 5x square plus 13x plus k. So this is the polynomial given. So what is the question? If one root of this polynomial is the reciprocal of the other, one root is the reciprocal of the other, you have to find the value of k. The value of k, that's the thing. One root is the reciprocal of other. I told you right now, I told you when I was dealing with this question, I told you whenever you are taking a quadratic polynomial, you have to take it as alpha and beta. But here, very specifically, it is mentioned that a root is the reciprocal of other. So if alpha is one of the root, the other root will be 1 by alpha. It's the reciprocal of the other, right? Alpha and 1 by alpha. So keep this in your mind. Now, let us focus into our question. So we got the two roots here. You have to find the value of k. So anyhow, when you are finding the value of k, let us go with the product of roots, because the last term, whenever you are considering the last term, it's better to take the product of the roots so that you will get it very easily. So here the last term is missing. It's the value given here is k, and we have to find the value of this k. So we know the product of the roots. What is the product of the roots? Alpha beta, because this is a quadratic polynomial. So product of the root, we know that alpha beta is equal to, what is alpha beta? It is c by a. And now tell me what is a, b and c. A is the first coefficient of x square, and this is your b. So this is your a, this is your b, and this will be your c. So you know alpha, beta are the roots of this equation, and the value of a is 5, the value of b is 13, and the value of c is k. And here if it is minus 13, you have to specifically say it is minus itself, minus 13, like that, okay? So anyhow, here everything is positive, so nothing to worry about. Now alpha beta, so here we have taken, instead of beta, we have taken it as 1 by alpha. So I am just substituting alpha into 1 by alpha is equal to, what is your c? It is k. K divided by, what is your a? It is 5. Alpha, alpha, and will cancel each other. Here only 1 will remain. So 1 into 5, that is 5, is equal to k. That means the value of k is 5. You got it. So this is the way how to deal. Only the one thing which you have to keep in your mind is, whenever the unknown term comes towards the last portion, go for the product of the roots. But in case, if this k is on the middle term, at the time it is better to take the sum of the roots, okay? So that is the only thing which you have to understand and which you have to start with. Because if your starting is perfect, definitely you will go to the correct destination and you will get the correct solution within 1 minute itself. Okay, now let's go to the next question. Here you can see a polynomial is given, and you have to say whether this polynomial are having the roots of the polynomial, the zeros of this polynomial, the zeros of this given polynomial, whether they are, both of them are positive, or whether both of them are negative, or whether one is positive and one is negative, or whether they are equal. These are the conditions, right? So what you have to say, just by seeing this one itself, you have to mention whether they are positive or not. So finding the roots, whenever you want to find the roots, forget not, you will have to equate it to 0. That's the first thing you have to do, right? When you want to find the roots of this one, you have to equate it to 0. So here you can see the last term. The last term is positive. So if the last term is positive, it means that when you're simplifying this one, definitely both of them should be of the same sign. Okay, I told both of them should be of same sign. It means that both of them can be positive, both of them can be negative also. Okay, so anyhow, here when you are simplifying this one, you will get x and something with x, that's equal to 0, right? So here, as I told, as the last term is positive, this both of terms can become negative, or both can be positive also. It can be negative, it can be, means both of the signs are same, that's all. They are same. Now our question is whether they are positive or whether they are negative. To find this one, you have to check the center term. The sign of the center term, whatever the sign of the center term is, you have to give the same sign here. Here you know the center term is plus 99, so both of them should be positive, because already we know both of them are of the same sign. And now you know that the center term is positive, that's why both of them you will have to give positive sign. So whatever it is coming here, it doesn't matter, because you need not want to find the solution, right? Keep it there, there's no need to find the solution. So from this one, either this one will be equal to 0 or this one will be equal to 0. If this one is equal to 0, what will become? x is equal to, see, this is a positive number. If you're taking this to that side, definitely become a negative number. Likewise here also, x is equal to, when this is a positive number, if you're taking this to the right hand side, it will become a negative number. That means the zeros of this one, both of them will be negative. So we will say both the zeros of this given polynomial are negative. Clear? That's it. Now comes the last and the very important portion of this chapter. See, regarding graphs, there are plenty of questions which comes regarding graph. So if a graphical representation is given regarding a polynomial, how to understand whether how many zeros are there or whether there are zeros, like that. So here let us see one question. Here we are going to draw some graphs, and the question is that among this one, which one is not a graph of a quadratic equation? Which one is not a graph of a quadratic equation? Here goes the graph before you. So I'm going to draw the graph. Just imagine this is as x-axis and y-axis. Second graph. Third one, and final one more here. Okay, so you know that this is x-axis, x dash, this is y dash. Similarly in everywhere, the horizontal line is what we call the x-axis, and the vertical line is what we call the y-axis. You know that one. Okay, so just in this one we are going to draw 4 graphs inside this one. Here goes the first one. Like this, it's not touching either y or either x-axis, not touching anywhere. Now the second one, it's just touching the x-axis at one point. It is just coinciding the y-axis and cutting over like this. Third one, it is coming all the way from here. It is cutting the x-axis at 2 points and y-axis at 1 point. And final one more thing, it is coming from here like this. One thing is very important, that this is a graph in y is equal to f of x. Means it's a graph in function of x. So whenever you are seeing that it is a function of x, you have to see the x-axis only, not the y-axis. You have to consider only about the x-axis. How many times this graph, means you can see the red in color, that is what we call the graph. Okay, that is the graph, that's your answer, that's the plot, that's the thing which you have plotted. So here you can say that if you are considering these 4 graphs, you must only check how many times or how many parts of this particular graph are coincident with x-axis. Just count the number. That will be the total number of zeros of that typical equation. I repeat, wherever your graph is touching the x-axis, at how many points they are touching, or how many points they are intersecting, that total number of points is what we call the zeros. That much zeros will be there. So now our question is, among this one is not a graph of the quadratic polynomial. So tell me, what is quadratic? Quadratic means you know that there is only 2 zeros. Okay, so here we have to see which one is not. So from this graph, what can you understand? Is it touching x-axis? No, it is not at all touching. That means the total coincidence of x-axis is 0. Intersecting with the x-axis is 0. That's why we can say there is no. It means for a quadratic equation, there is a possibility that there can be no zeros. There can be 1 0 or there can be 2 0. That's the maximum. It cannot become more than 2. That is the thing which you have to keep in your mind. It cannot become more than 2 because it is quadratic. So here it is 0. So we can say this can happen. There is a possibility. Okay, so what about this one? You can see it is touching exactly only at a single point on the x-axis. So this is also an equation. This can be also considered as a graph of a quadratic equation. What about this one? It is cutting 3 parts, right? 1, 2, 3. Is it? No. Why? I told you, even though you found that it is cutting at 3 parts, I told you you have to count only x-axis, not the y-axis. So leave this one. So here you can see it is cutting exactly 2 different points. So we can say this is also considered as the graph of a quadratic equation, because you can say there are 2 zeros for this one. What about this one? It is cutting x-axis at 1, 2, 3 points. So it is cutting 3 points at 3 points. That means it is not the graph of a quadratic, but actually this is the graph of which one? Cubic polynomial, right? Because it is having 3 zeros. So we can say this one is the answer. We will say this one is the odd one out. So we will say that is the answer. What was the question? Among this graph, which of the following is not the graph of a quadratic polynomial? So that one is not the graph of a quadratic polynomial. We know that it is the graph of a cubic polynomial. So that's it. And this is how we have to understand the class. So dear students, I hope that you enjoyed today's section. So this is all about polynomials. It's very easy. So I wish you all the best, and I tell you and I remind you that forget not, if you are understanding these tips very perfectly, definitely whenever you are getting a question without making any lagging of time, you will get the answer within 1 minute. And that's very important because we are having only the MCQ sections. Don't waste your time by doing in lengthy methods. Go for shortcuts and short tips. Just by doing and just by viewing a particular question, you have to understand what is the technology which you have to approach. What is the correct way which you have to deal with. So that's why continuously watch the videos and understand the technique behind this one and keep on practicing. When you're practicing regularly, definitely what's going to happen means you will increase your time. You will start increasing the limit. You will just climb beyond the limits, and very fast you will be able to get your answers. Okay, that will give you a good confidence. So wishing you all the best. So we will meet in the next class with a new chapter. Till then, take care and goodbye. Have a nice day.